Hello, I'm Toby, and I have been working for around 6 weeks now, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I don't know, on a digital prototype of the game IronWood, and I now want to show you that for a few minutes. And this is now already the third try of actually recording that, so let's see how well it goes now and what I will now forget because I've already said it in one of the previous recordings. So, where do I start? Well, I want to preface this obviously with I'm not in any form connected to Mindclash games, yada yada yada. I'm one random person who just did that in their free time. So, um, well, yeah, you see everything you can basically see in the game. There's almost no extra stuff. There will be some extra UI elements, but I mean, this is the game. So first of all, I've just used the original Ironwood board. I did actually at the beginning think about somehow decluttering that because it looks quite a bit noisy, which makes the whole screen a bit noisy, but I kept it like it is. Um, so one change I did was I did make the fighters. I essentially used their silhouettes and put a number in them instead of using like little tokens for each fighter. I just used the silhouettes and put the number in it so there's less stuff on the screen. So I did the same with the drill, as you can see here. And yeah, what else? Well, there's those menus, well, I don't know, UI thingies. How do you call that? I know, info screens, whatever, with some information on both of the 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 different sides of the game. So I tried to make them look a bit the same, but I mean they're not very good at the moment anyway. So so the bottom left is like essentially the victory point, so like the fortress here and here the recovered totems. And then there's the crystal amount that you have at the moment, and then like the how many units and tokens you have left over. And then here are like the decks, like the Ironclad only has one deck, and they have the regular deck and their vision deck. And the numbers here are wrong for the visions at the moment. And the other numbers are kind of wrong. They're not wrong. I just haven't implemented all cards, so that's why they're not showing 38 cards combined. It's just showing 25 because I have not implemented all the cards because some of them were a bit difficult, and then I was too lazy. Well, they weren't difficult. Like some of them were very straightforward, and at one point I had enough cards to test the game, and after that I did not bother implementing more of the cards. I will in the future. I did have to change some of the internal workings for some of the cards to work at one point, and I did that already. So I can look into the other cards now as well, but yeah, there wasn't a point in doing that in the past. So, right, most of the graphics are essentially just, well, all of the graphics are just taken from the official sources. So, like either from tabletop, simulator, or from the rule book. Like the left and right side here are just the cover art from the rule book, or well, also the cover from the board game itself. That's why there's also the title at the top here. So for the regular cards, I gave them a bit of a border because A, I want to highlight which cards you can play and which cards you can't play, and B, given that the cards did not have a border, they looked a bit weird when they were overlapping, and like especially when you have like here at the top, you have the back sides just overlapping, and then it just looks like one big brown area. And so with the extra border I put there, um, yeah, you see better like these are individual cards. So for playing cards, I have essentially taken the color scheme of Magic the Gathering, which is if you can play a card, it's turquoise, or the border is turquoise. When you're actually playing it, it turns orange. Um, so some of those cards have, like some of the cards just do something. Other cards, like this one, uh, well, you have to interact with the card. Like this one says resolve 2 out of these 3. And so when I do that, it will then ask me to resolve one of the options. I have to say though, this is the only card I actually did put those graphics in. So right, you see it's essentially just the original card, but I had to like, I mean, you can't even see that. I had to cut out the other text and then move the text that was there like to the top and stuff. And I could not be bothered to do that with every card that lets me resolve anything. So I just did it for one so that you can see, hey, this looks cool. And yeah, I didn't bother doing it for more. Also, you saw when I did that, the cards were essentially like those extra cards were essentially spawned on top of this card and flew to the left. But now if I click them, they just vanish instantly because that was the last thing I've actually implemented. And I was like, okay, this is good enough now. I just keep it and I make the video. And then sometime in the future, I will work on it again to make it a bit nicer. So I can move one of the units now. Oh yeah, so originally I had implemented the game as a console game, so you had to type in what you're doing, and some of the texts are still from that time. So it tells me now that I have to choose like a mountain to move, and it says 0 to abort. Well, obviously I don't input numbers anymore like in the past, so the 0 to abort has no meaning anymore. Um, Right, so let's click one and then let's click a target and I get this not so nice looking UI window that lets me select how many units I want to move. Right, I can't move 0 units, so nothing happens if I click that. I can move more than 0 units though. So you already here you can see the icon I've chosen for the golem. So you see on those corner menus, you see like how the tokens originally look like, and you see here, especially for the ironclad, you almost don't see the units on them. Um, and so I decided to use silhouettes for everything. And so for the golem, to make it more distinguished from the fighter, I inverted the color scheme, but I had to remove all the details to then later be able to put a number inside it. So unfortunately, you don't really recognize that thing as a golem anymore. Although I have to say that I already don't recognize the original coin as a golem. I just know it's a golem because I know it's one and the coin is bigger. I don't know. I never quite got the image here. So let's just move some of the units, and then I could use this one to build an expansion here, foundation. So you see the AI was like thinking at the moment. So what I did was I implemented both sides as a human, so you could play both sides as a human, although you can only play the ironclad with UI. So the woodworker you can only play in the console, so you have to input numbers and press enter a few times and whatever. And the ironclad you can play with UI. Both sides can be played by an AI, so the AI is essentially like a chess computer, and it will like try out all of the moves. Well, not all of the moves, but it will play like a random. It will play a lot of random games. That's how I should phrase that. So it will play a lot of games, At the moment, it's like I think I don't know. I've changed it a few times to make me wait less time. I think it's like 100,000 games or something that it will play for a few rounds, and then it collects how often it how often it won and how often it lost with the different moves, and then it will choose the move it thinks is the best one. Um, the AI is not too good, which is partially due to me not implementing it very good, and partially because the game is not that easy. Because like you draw cards and your opponent draws cards, so you don't actually know what's happening and what could happen. And yeah, what else? Right. So one thing though, and again, I don't know if it's because of my implementation or because of the game itself, but the Woodwalker AI is better than the Ironclad AI. So the Ironclad AI, uh, so the way it kind of works is it will, if it knows you have a vision card in your hand, it will essentially just guess which vision you have in your hand, and most of the times it will just think you have a vision that's not very important, but actually most of the times you probably have a good vision card in your hand, and so it will be totally stomped by your visions, and this happens all the time. So at the moment I implemented the Ironclad with the UI so I can play against the wooden AI, um, because that's more fun because the wooden AI is a bit better. So again, I've this is the third recording now. I don't remember what I've said in the past and what I have not. Um, so I played this one card, now I can play another card. Now let's play this one. And now you see, usually for all the other cards, instead of getting the cool resolve effect I had before, I get this ugly UI that says, hey, choose option 1, 2, or 3. And now I say, I don't know, I choose option 1, I want to recruit. Then I get another ugly UI that asks me twice, spend a crystal, and I say yes, and now I recruited a new unit, and now I can actually also move units around. So I think I did not mention those turn markers. So those 1, 2, 3 on both sides essentially tell you whose turn it is and what turn it is at the moment. Right, I could also attack one here. Here, let's attack them. And now you get a new UI, which essentially just says those are the units at the moment. And some cards give you an extra combat values, and they would be listed here. And so now I wager a card, and the opponent will now wager a card. And so the problem now is that's it, right? So units actually died now, and if you can see through the UI here, you see that in the forest, there's only one fighter left of the two, and on the mountain, there's also only one fighter left of the three. But well, you didn't really catch that this happened because like the UI doesn't show you anything. It just shows, hey, these are the values. Figure it out yourself. And then if you close the window, the stuff just happened in the background. Oh, I did win. I can banish the opponent, so this one is still marked because that was part of the fight. And now I can select where I want to banish them. And I actually want to banish them there. I'm still not too sure on the strategy in this game, but I think most of the times you want to, as the Ironclad, you want to banish the woodworker in a way that they have all the units at one spot because that's the thing they give that gives them the least possibilities of doing cool stuff. Right now it's the end of the turn or the end of the round, which actually means that this thing here is wrong, and know that in the code I have written that this should be disabled when it's done. But oh well, somehow it isn't. So it's the end of the round. I can recruit a unit here. Maybe you realized I could not actually choose to not recruit, so there should be a button like down here that says don't recruit, and the logic is there, but there's no button here, so I can't select it. Yeah, I think that's basically the game. If you have any recommendations, any questions, whatever, you can write it into the comments, like either YouTube comments or BGG comments or whatever. Just write a message. I don't know what will happen to the project, honestly, because like I said at the very beginning, I'm in no way connected to Minecraft games. I don't have any rights for the game. I can't just publish it or whatever. So at the moment, it's just a hobby project of mine. I want to continue it. Um, it obviously misses some more UI. It obviously misses some cards. It kind of theoretically supports multiplayer. So I have written games in the past with like the same system, like in the same way how I've written this game, and they had multiplayer, and I'm missing like 100 lines of code to make multiplayer possible. That will take me like an hour to actually implement. So it's some other games, right? They say, "Oh, I actually want to have multiplayer," and then they have to rewrite the whole game because they didn't think about that. Here it's super easy. It's like I said, it's like an hour of work to actually put in the multiplayer. Um, this won't be any issue. Another thing I want to have is like a challenge mode, which just like I just want to give the player a bit more variety of the game. So there's like the normal mode, which is like the regular game mode, and I also want to have like a challenge mode where you can select different challenges to make the game a bit harder, or I don't know, different. I don't know. So maybe you play the game and I remove every card with a golem for you, right? So you can't do anything with golems anymore. Or you have to win the game, but before winning the game or before like building your last forge, um, you had to move with your drill to every mountain. Or the game actually ignores the number of forges, but you have to have, I don't know, 30 crystals to win. Like stuff like that, right? Like changing the game a bit so it's a bit more uh, different than what you normally would do. Um, I obviously want to work more on the AI and stuff, but I mean that's kind of obvious, I guess. Um, oh, I think. Oh no! This time I did not talk about that yet. Already, I think. So I'm sorry, I did not talk about that earlier. So uh, you see, I have cards and the opponent has cards. The opponent also has visions. This is a big part of the woodworker, and you did not see them yet. And the reason for that is they're not in the game, not visually. And the only reason for that is I did not know where to put them. So originally, I thought I would first implement the woodworkers for myself. And so I thought, well, I have my cards down here, or a bit more to the left. And then I just put the visions here to the right. And then I realized, hey, sometimes when playing a card, like, I don't know, like recruiting, sometimes I want to skip something, and then I want a button that says like skip action. And because I've played a bit of Magic Gathering, and like I said before, I don't know, the color scheme of the turquoise and orange is also from Magic Gathering. And they put your skip action or whatever buttons, they put them bottom right. So I said, well, I can't put the vision cards bottom right because that's reserved for the button. So where do I put the vision cards? And so the next idea would be to put the visions behind your main cards. That's a bit stupid. I don't want to have 2 rows of cards. And so I said, well, I just have this menu here that says, hey, you have these kinds of cards and these kinds of cards, and then you can toggle them. But then I never actually implemented it. And so at the moment, you just have this thing that says, like, on the left, so you have 8 visions in your deck, 2 on your hand, and 0 discarded. Theoretically, when highlighting that or clicking that or whatever, I should be able to see what visions, at least the ones I know, like if I'm the Ironclad and I want to click it, then I want to at least see all the discarded ones so that I know which mountain you cannot discover anymore. And there's also ways in the game to actually take a peek at the visions in the hand of your opponent. Right, so I should be able to know that, but at the moment, like visually, there is no way to do that. Like obviously the game knows, and well, it should just let me allow that. So this is one of the missing things. So that's almost it. One little thing I will show you in the last 2 or 3 minutes. I know the video is already too long. I'm happy if you've watched until here, and I know, right? I'm not a native English speaker, and listening to me is horrible. I know. I'm sorry. So one thing that is missing at the moment also is sound and music. For sound, I was a bit too lazy because so I had one sound effect for the cards, but only having sound for the cards but no sound for everything else seemed weird, so I just kept it out. I did add music. Well, I obviously did not write music. I did just take music from another game and put it into the game, and it's annoying. It's super annoying. So the thing is, so my idea was I give the Woodwalkers their music theme, I give the Ironclad their music theme, and there's maybe a music theme for fight, and there's a music theme for like the end of round phase, right, where both can recruit units and stuff. And given that the AI is thinking for like 5 seconds, that means you hear that music for 5 seconds and then it switches to your music again. And this is so weird because like you hear your music and then there's a hard cut and then the other music begins, and before the other music comes to the cool part, it already ends. And so I've taken the music of another game called War Groove um, and put it in the game, and you can hear that now. And this is the reason why I had to record the thing now 3 times, because before that I just had it now way too loud and you couldn't hear me talking anymore. So I just enabled the music now, and I hope it has the correct volume, because I actually don't hear the music, because then it would get picked up by the microphone. So I actually have the music disabled, but you should hear it now. So now you can hear like one music track, and this is at the moment like supposed to be the soundtrack of the Ironclad. It doesn't sound like the Ironclad. I actually would have ideas like what sorts of instruments would fit both sides and stuff, but yeah, I have to think about it. So I will just play for a bit and you will see how often the music would change, and this gets a bit annoying. This is like the only thing I want to say now. Like if you don't care about that, just leave already. I don't know. It's not important. It's just me rambling about the music. So let's just do, I don't know, something. Let's play this one. Build a foundation and move the drill. So now it's the turn of the Woodwalker, and they do a little bit of stuff, and that's almost it. No, it's not. They just played the card. That was it. So that was the whole music you heard of the Woodwalker. And so now it's my turn again. Oh, they've discovered the totem. Oh no. I could attack them. Right, so attacking. This music now will not be of the game War Groove, but of the game Final Fantasy. Now I said it like Final Fantasy was a niche game. So this music you will hear in a few seconds is Final Fantasy X boss fight music. And right now you have music, yada yada yada, you wager a card, the opponent wagers a card, jing, and the music is over. No, now it's over. And now you have the banish effect, and now it's the Woodwalker theme again, right? And in the few seconds, or 1 or 2 seconds, in the banishing, where I did actually not have music playing, because I implemented it stupidly, you realize that no music is also a bad choice, because it was really apparent that there was music lacking at that point. So you really want to have music, but right, this starting and ending music so often is not good. So I don't know what to do about it. So like I said, I do actually have ideas about music. I'm just not a musician, just like I'm not an artist. And so I can't play and talk. So oh, now you hear the third musical theme. Now you don't hear it anymore. Let's just disable the music again. So if you would actually want to have music in the game, it would have to be very dynamic. Instead of having those hard cuts, it would have to like dynamically fade into the different themes, and so those themes should be really short. Right. That was just me rambling a few minutes about music, about a game that I don't have any rights to write. So I don't know. I hope that you liked what you saw, or that you actually watched it or listened to it or whatever. I actually doubt it, but I don't know. If you've listened to it, thank you. Like I said before, write to the comments. Maybe you say cool stuff. You can also tell me that I should come to the point a lot faster. I don't know. Um, yeah, I will work on it in the future. I will probably take a day like off now, like Sunday, taking a day off, and after that, I will probably switch to more logic stuff again, like implementing the cards and looking at the AI again. Before, at one point, I will look at the UI again, because I really hated working on UI. It's so annoying. Everything is so, yeah, it's so meaningless. Moving stuff like 10 pixels to the right or to the top or whatever. It's so daunting working on it. I feel, I don't know. So I will go back to logic and AI, and then I will go back to UI again. And probably the AI will be better at that point, and maybe it will actually crush me into pieces in the future. Well, however, goodbye. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever. I hope you like what you saw and heard, or maybe just what you saw. And yeah, goodbye. Have a good day.